What's good, ASOP family? This your boy Truth and that show for Truth Over Narrative. Welcome to ASOP Boxing Talk. So, as you can tell by the title, you know what I'm saying, today we're gonna talk about the little welterweight round robin that's going on, man. If you keeping up with boxing and you keeping up with these welterweights, man, it's so much congestion going on in the welterweight division right now that I just figured out, hey, maybe if you're a casual or maybe if you even a diehard boxing fan and you might not know the current landscape of the welterweight division, let's jump on and talk about it. So, I'm gonna share something, share a little screen here, and then we're just gonna kind of, walk through, talk through, bust it down, and then we'll see what we got here. So what I did initially first was I came back to share the all of the rankings, right? So I'll put all of the rankings here. Obviously at the top, as of October 20th, which is a little bit older, but what I will say is that none of these guys on this list since October 20th have lost a fight. So this list will pretty much stay intact. So obviously we got the unified champion, Earl Spence. We got Terence Crawford at number 2 as the WBO champion. Boots Ennis, Ugas, right? Virgil, Stanionis, Thurman, Avanesian, Conor Benn, and Butayev. So this is the Ring Magazine top 10. So I guess if you were going by historically, right, this is the most valued. I mean, I am up and down about the Ring Magazine due to certain individuals that they have there, due to certain bullshit politics that they have. But again, hey, at the end of the day, I'm making this informative video, so we'll use their rankings and we'll go off of WBO, IBF, WBC, and WBA rankings for this. So in these rankings, I will say that Conor Benn is going to fall off. So Conor Benn has he has relinquished his license. At this point, I have no other choice but to call Conor Benn a drug cheat until other things come out and maybe prove different. But as of right now, Conor Benn is a drug cheat, and he's being removed from a lot of these rankings anyway until otherwise has happened. As of right now, he has no license to box. So as far as I'm concerned, he's a regular civilian like you and I. I don't know, maybe he could work at the local Great Britain Walmart or something like that. Whatever. All right. So as of right now, we know that for our number one guy, which is Earl Spence, tentatively, right, or so the rumor is, he'll be fighting the number 7 guy, which is Keith Thurman. That fight was ordered by the WBC as a mandatory, as Keith Thurman is their number 1 fighter in that division. I don't know how. He took a long layoff. He fought Josecito Lopez after he came back from an injury in 2019. Then he fought Manny Pacquiao. He lost the Pacquiao fight. Then earlier this year, I think it was in February, he fought Mario Barrios, that was Mario Barrios' first time moving up to welterweight. So I just don't understand how Keith Thurman came in at number 1 for WBC. But hey, you got to let Mauricio Sulaiman explain that to you. So number 1 and number 7 guy are spoken for. They got a fight coming up. Hopefully, we'll see. Still hasn't been announced yet. So as of right now, I'm still speculating. Our number 2, which is Terence Crawford, and our number 8, which is David Avanesian, have a fight scheduled on December 10th. I think that fight is going to go as planned. Terence Crawford probably going to go in there, maybe work a little bit, a couple rounds, stop Avanesian, get him out of there. If that's a tough fight, not a good look for Terence Crawford, but it is what it is. Number 3, man, you got Jerron Boots Ennis, man. So the reason why I got all of these rankings come up is because, again, when you come to a guy like Jerron Boots Ennis, you look at the WBO rankings, he's number 2. You look at the IBF rankings, he's the number 1. You look at the WBC rankings, he's number 3. Look at the WBA rankings, he's number 2, right? So Jerron Boots Ennis, he's top 3 in every single sanctioning body, and including the Ring Magazine. So he's supposed to be fighting on the Tank Davis undercard January 7th. An opponent has not been announced yet. At first, a lot of people thought it was Rashidi, but, his dad came out and said that he ducked him, and then he said that they wasn't supposed to fight him, so that was a little bit confusing. My best bet that I'm going to go with is I'm going to scroll down here a little bit. If you take a look at these IBF rankings, you have a guy at number 4 in Karen Chukhadzian, right? Now, the reason why I personally feel like he's going to take the fight with an unknown Ukrainian guy by the name of Karen Chukhadzian. This guy is number 4 in the IBF. And also, more importantly for me, which I'm going to make a later point of, he is number 13 in the WBO, right? Why is that important? I'm gonna hold that, and then we're gonna keep talking, right? I'm gonna hold that. So then Ugas still coming off that eye injury. So I don't think he got a fight lined up. He's currently number 4 in the ring. I think Yordanis Ugas is ranked number 10 in the WBO, in the IBF. Ugas is ranked, he's not in the IBF, he's not ranked in the IBF. In the WBC, he is ranked number 4. And in the WBA, he's ranked number 5. So obviously, we know that Ugas was the former WBA super champion. He was made champion, and then Pacquiao was champion in recess. He came back, beat Pacquiao. He was the full champion in April 16th, Dallas, Texas Stadium, Jerry's World. He lost to Earl Spence. So I understand why he's still well ranked in mostly all of these sanctioning bodies. Now it gets interesting because you got number 5, which is Virgil Ortiz. So Virgil Ortiz, who's again another one, just like Boots, ranked top 3 in every sanctioning body. But it's interesting with Boots because many of us thought that, Virgil Ortiz. It's interesting with Ortiz because many of us thought Ortiz was going to go the WBO route. Force a fight with Terrence Crawford. I know he's been highly ranked there for a while. I think he's been ranked at the WBO. He's been highest ranked in the WBO out of all the sanctioning bodies for the longest. But hey, this is boxing. These sanctioning bodies do what they do. Fighters do what they want to do. Promoters do what they want to do. Whatever. So Virgil was just ordered by the WBA, and his team has been pressing to fight the number 6 ranked in the ring, which is Stanionis. So now, if this fight does get made and Virgil is fighting Montez Stanionis, who is our number 6 guy, who was the WBA the WBA world champion, right? He's not the super champion because that's Earl Spence. He's the WBA world champion. If Virgil does get that fight, and that fight, does come to fruition, they end up fighting for that WBA regular title. I think whether a win or loss, all of these rankings will change, right? Because now, why would the WBC keep you so highly rated when you're fighting for this championship? Why would the IBF? Same. And the WBO? Same. Now, bringing me back to the Jaron Ennis point is Jaron Ennis is number 2 in the WBO. Virgil is currently 1 there. So, just right now, mind you, Boots may be the mandatory for the IBF. But when you play the shake 'em up game, let's look back at Terrence Crawford at number 2. He last fought in November, which was November of 2021, which was a mandated fight to fight Sean Porter for his WBO championship. We know the WBO orders their mandatories every 18 months. He's going to take this voluntary fight with Avanesian, but then maybe springtime, I want to say, the WBO should be calling for that mandatory. If Virgil fights Stanionis, then essentially Boots should be moving up. And why is it important for that? Because you have to, for the IBF, in order to stay the mandatory, you got to fight somebody in the top 15. He should move up in the WBO if Virgil wins that belt, or if Virgil loses. Boots should still be moved up. The reason that our number 4 guy in the IBF, Karen Chukhadzian, is important because he's ranked in the IBF and the WBO. If Boots does decide to fight him on the Tank undercard, possibly, like we've heard, I think that it will leave Boots in great position as long as that fight isn't labeled as an IBF mandatory. Now, if it's an IBF mandatory, then it's kind of hard because now you kind of stuck yourself in this IBO route. And so, not IBO, in this IBF route, which makes it a little bit difficult. But if that's just a regular fight and, hey, it's an IBF fight, it could be also a WBA sanctioned fight. We never know. But again, with Earl Spence and possibly a Thurman fight, the winner of that has already been ordered to fight whoever is the WBA regular champion or the WBA world champion. Well, that means that Terrence Crawford may not get a shot at Earl Spence or Keith Thurman or whoever is the unified champion at that time. Terrence Crawford may have to defend against his mandatory, who could possibly be Jerome Boots Ennis, depending on how Ennis and his team and his promoter or whatever you want to count management team play this whole situation. Again, it's a lot going on. I know I just said a whole mouthful, and you might have to slow it down and keep up with me, but it's just a lot going on. But at the end of the day, I think really the point that I'm making is we may see Earl Spence versus Thurman, Ortiz Jr. versus Stanionis. If Boots plays cards right, we could possibly see Boots force Crawford later this year. Again, Conor Bennett's going to drop off this list. Another opponent that I've heard for Earl Spence is Butayev. I think that would be a good fight. I would love to see Earl Spence versus Butayev. But yeah, man, I'm curious, man. I'm very curious because it's a lot. It's a lot going on in the welterweight division, man. I want Boots to get his title shot. I want Virgil to get his title shot. I want this new era of 147 to start being ushered in and let these older guys either move up or move out of the way. You know what I'm saying? Either way, man, it's your boy Truth Show for Truth Over Narrative, A-Side Boxing Talk. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, man. I'm doing my best. I'm trying to break it down to the people, man. I'm trying to hold it. Give me a second, guys. Trying to break it down to y'all, man. This boxing shit is so, I guess, fickle sometimes, man. Anything could happen. One move and the whole shit is turned on its head. But at the end of the day, man, I'm gonna try to bring y'all the most informative, most non-biased, you know what I mean, news so that, hey, so we can get the news, man. You know what I mean? But anyway, A-Side Boxing Talk. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to come over to the A-Side. Subscribe. We on a hunt to 1,000 subscribers. We at like 220 right now. Turn me up now. We out.